Hey friends, welcome back to the 2025 year recap. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about my content creation journey on YouTube as creating educational videos on nuclear energy and talking a little bit about my life as well. So it's going to capture a lot of different things. And so we'll jump right into it. All right, why did I start making nuclear content in the first place? And is that reason still the same? Okay. In the year 2020, during COVID, I started this content creation journey. It's been almost 4 or 5 years since then, and a lot has happened. I started off this channel creating videos just about everything and anything, about the books that I was reading, about my morning routines, and then also I started creating videos on can-do reactors because I was so passionate about those. And so this creative project turned into something greater. A lot of people in the industry and in the public started getting value from these can-do reactor videos. They loved it. People were watching these videos, preparing for their interviews for, director or VP level jobs. And I was getting that feedback. And so it motivated me to create more and more of these videos. When I was going to school, there wasn't really a lot of nuclear energy content on the internet. And so these videos, they open up the portals, or like the kind of the gates of Narnia, right? For a lot of young professionals and a lot of industry leaders who may want to get into the nuclear industry as well. And so the reason that I started to create nuclear content was it was benefiting people. And I think that's the core purpose of the content that I create on this channel. I firmly believe a video can change a life, right? They can change the trajectory of someone's life. In this content consumption type of world where we're doom scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, I feel like YouTube is an incredible platform where you can publish long form content from your living room, from your kitchen, right? Wherever you are. And it is appreciated by a lot of people. A lot of people can get value from it. And it can improve someone's life, like their lifestyle and habits. It can improve someone's career trajectory. It can provide them insight into things that no one knows about, right? Like the nuclear industry, which is a very niche topic. And so introducing a niche topic to people and getting them passionate about it is why I started this journey. And I think the journey initially was more of a creative journey. Like, let's try out cool things and let's see where things go. And now it's more of a focused journey. Like, okay, nuclear energy content is benefiting people. How can we make nuclear energy more accessible to all? So whether that's podcasts with industry guests, whether that's going inside reactor sites, okay? That was one of my dreams when I was initially starting this channel. Was I wanted to go inside reactor sites and film them and create vlogs and share with people how incredible these sites are. And that's exactly what's happening now, right? Like, my dream is coming true. I've been to countries like Japan, Argentina. I've been to Jamaica, inside all of the reactor sites there. Across Canada, I've been to so many reactor sites, and more on the list, right? More things may be in the works. So yeah, I think that's what's going on. All right, so which video or podcast episode best represents what I stand for? Okay, so I'll start off with the videos. I think the video that represents what I best stand for is the ultimate can-do reactor guide. Okay, and I think that video stands for, but represents what I stand for, because a nuclear reactor is such a complex machine. Okay, it's very, very technologically complex. In that 20-minute video, I break down exactly what a reactor is, but I use analogies that help people relate to it, right? Help people understand, like, what is a can-do reactor. I use natural analogies. I use analogies of things that people use in their day-to-day, like cars. And so I think that video represents what I stand for, because usually when reactors, when someone's sharing information about nuclear reactors, it's this boring type of presentation style where people are falling asleep and falling off their chairs. But this video is 4K, It's high quality, nice music in the background, and it's entertaining to watch, right? It's edutainment basically, right? It's entertaining and it's educational. It's a bit of a primer for someone to get a taste of nuclear, develop a passion for it, and go deeper into the topics. And they want to read textbooks, they can do that. So I think that video is very, very packed with this technical information, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like a very easy, fun video to watch. So I think that video really represents what I stand for. It's how do we demystify nuclear technologies by simplifying them, and that's the purpose of this channel. In regards to the podcast episodes, I would say I really enjoyed my discussion with Dr. Jeremy Whitlock, okay, on nuclear safeguards. I really enjoyed that discussion because Jeremy is someone I really look up to. Dr. Jeremy Whitlock, he created this incredible website, Nuclear FAQs, that I started reading. Even when I was a student, I used to read that. I never knew who he was until I met him in person or met him virtually, like through COVID, right? I was blown away by his content. And so I met him, and what's incredible is, talking to him about nuclear safeguards, right? I think that's something that I had a chance of working in the industry with as a safeguards officer. And so he has that incredible abundant wealth of experience working with the International Atomic Energy Agency. And so I think the safeguards topic is so relevant, especially nowadays, that when I shared clips of it online, a lot of people really appreciated that podcast because it provided some insight into a niche topic that even people in the industry are not always aware of, because the industry, it's very focused on operations and maintenance. It's focused on innovation, but safeguards is a topic which not many people, even in the industry, have a subject matter expertise on. So getting someone like Jeremy onto the podcast and having a really in-depth discussion with him, I think that was remarkable. It was definitely a podcast episode which I stand for, like which represents what I'm trying to do here on this channel. So, another topic here is, how has my identity as a nuclear engineer evolved since last year? My journey as a nuclear engineer has been pretty interesting. It's had its ups and downs. It's weaved back and forth. It's like a road trip. Okay, I've been working in the industry now for around 7 years, 7.5 years, I would say. Okay, I started off in the industry, spending 2 years, various co-ops and internships, and then 5.5 years doing different roles like business development, innovation, strategy, and then I did that for 3 years. It was incredible. And then I also spent a lot of time in the nuclear safeguards, right, as a safeguards officer, so something a lot more technical. In the last year, I think I've developed way more of a technical acumen and develop those technical skills, right? I think understanding how a nuclear facility works and working in one day in and day out is a very, very, it's an experience that changes you. It evolves you as a human being, right? The industry, like working at a nuclear station, it's a very militaristic environment. Like everything is done based on, based on a very structured process, okay? And that structured process is at times very overwhelming. However, that structured process is what creates nuclear energy, right? It creates that beauty of safety, of operational excellence, and all of these incredible things that you see when you go to a nuclear facility. And so learning more about one subject and getting that deep dive into it is something that I think over the past 2.5 years I've developed. But in the last year, that has developed even more so. So I think for me, my identity as a nuclear engineer, it started off as someone that was involved at more of a high level with strategy and business development and innovation, and which was all incredible on the corporate side of things. And then now it's evolved into something that is more holistic. It's, I've developed that technical wing. I think there's two wings to a, you know, to an engineer, right? There's those soft skills, those communication skills, and kind of that foresight, but then there's also the technical acumen. So I think in the past year, that as a nuclear engineer, that has been something that I've really, really developed and refined. Okay, so another question here is, what misconceptions about nuclear energy did I most enjoy correcting this year? All right, so when it comes to nuclear energy, I really enjoyed talking about the innovation piece in some of the podcasts. I didn't really talk about it, but I heard a lot of the different opinions and perspectives. The nuclear industry is kind of seen at times as like very archaic and very backwards and old school. There's so much innovation in the industry, technological innovation. It'll blow people's minds. And so I think for me, showcasing to people, like a lot of folks reached out to me and were like, oh, well, I have a background in computer science, or I have a background in tech and I want to work in the nuclear industry, but I can't because this industry doesn't hire these people. And I was like, no, wait, hold up. Here's some podcasts, check them out. There's a lot of great, incredible jobs in the industry related to innovation and tech. So I think that was a big misconception that I helped alleviate. Another question here is, did I ever have to simplify without dumbing down? And how did I navigate that? All right, that's interesting. I think when it comes to simplifying concepts, we have to be very careful not to necessarily dumb down topics, okay? Because the people who we're sharing this amazing information with, they're kind of get a little bit turned off, right? Because when you dumb something down to a certain extent, someone is like, okay, I'm not stupid. I actually understand what you're talking about, okay? So I always take the route of, first of all, understanding who the person's background is, right? So for example, I think one thing that I really learned a lot from was TEDx, the TED Talk, okay? The TED Talk was literally one of the best experiences that I've had, right? Because I'm speaking to a non-technical audience, and in that script, I sometimes dumb things down too much, and the feedback that I got was this: people might actually not really like how your approach in this. People are a lot smarter than you think, right? When you talk about technical topics, you don't need to always dumb down. You can talk about certain things. You can even say some technical words, right, that people may not fully understand, okay? Like radiomedical isotope. Not many people understand what that is, but they get or in depth. You don't need to exactly say what it is. But when you say radiomedical isotope, people have an idea, okay, this could be used for cancer therapy, or it could be used for saving lives, right? And so I think dumbing down, it's like you don't want to go way too complex, but you don't want to dumb down either. It's like finding that fine balance based on your audience, right? If I'm speaking at a nuclear conference, I'm not going to be dumbing things down. I'm going to be talking, I'm going to be using acronyms, I'm going to be going into technical details. However, for the TED Talk, that really helped me understand what that fine balance is, especially when it comes to the general public. By the way, let's talk about the TED Talk. That was one of the highlights of last year. I think it was one of the greatest accomplishments for me, because I believe I'm one of the first in the nuclear industry as a professional to get onto the TEDx stage. That was an incredible experience, right? Like being on that stage. It was not only being on that stage, but it was preparing for that, right? Like a 10-minute presentation. It took me months to write and rewrite the script. It was a lot of work, guys. And what I learned in that whole journey was the emotional connection, right? The emotional connection is so powerful. There's the technical information that you're providing, but the emotions behind that information are probably more important than the technical information itself. And someone, as an engineer, as someone who creates technical content, I don't always think about that concept. Like how is this information emotionally resonating with people? And so the TEDx experience really helped me rationalize and understand how emotions impact the hearts and minds, right? To create change in someone's hearts, especially a large portion of a population, you need to really look into the soul and really connect heart to heart. And so my TED Talk, I'll include in the link in the description below. Um, but it focused on many topics that are relevant to people across the world. It talked about, nature, it talked about AI, it talked about water preservation, and it also talked about access to clean drinking water, right? Which are all topics that people are passionate about, right? And then I connected those passions back to nuclear energy, right? So I think when advocating or engaging the public, it's important to understand what's important to other people, and then connect it back to something you're passionate about, right? So I think that was one of the most incredible pieces of this end of year recap. What did this year teach me about sustainability, not just for energy, but for myself? I think this year really taught me that you can't do everything under the sun. Okay, and that's okay. I was doing podcasts. I'm doing Reactor tours, and also simplification videos. But I think it's important this year give me space to really take a step back and see, okay, where am I bringing the most amount of value into people's lives? I know the podcasts give me a lot of value because I'm getting mentorship directly from some of the most exceptional and experienced people in the nuclear industry. But the question is, how relevant is that to people, right? And then the second is the reactor tours and reactor site visits are really, really cool. But also, are people getting value? And I think they are. I think they really, really are. So I think there's seasons to a creator's journey. This year and last year was about exploring, right? Exploring how balance can look like in different regards. And then now I'm taking a step back and being like, okay, maybe I need to get back into simplification videos, right? I think those were very high impact. And that's something that I'm probably going to start again, to go back into simplification. So that's definitely something that I learned about sustainability and about myself. Another question here is, what achievement am I most proud of that no one really sees? I'm most proud of my consistent habit of just reading, of getting, I don't really share much. I did have some book reviews on this channel, but I think for me, the achievement that I'm most proud of is having a consistent reading habit, about diversifying my interest even beyond nuclear, right? And so people, when you watch this video, you're like, okay, this guy is crazy about nuclear. His whole life revolves around nuclear, but it's more than that. It's the achievements, right? It's me reading that fiction novel, or for example, the Count of Monte Cristo, and appreciating English literature. It's about me reading about psychology and Adlerian psychology, and really resonating with that and appreciating that. And I think those achievements, they add to the value that I'm delivering on this channel, because I can approach them from a different perspective. And that's the achievement that I'm proud of, right? Be it that my knowledge is not only about a niche technical topic, but is becoming that holistic person. Another question here is, what advice would this year's version of me give to last year's version? I would give last year's version the advice that life is not always stationary, right? Or life has ups and downs, right? And that's the beauty of life. That's how you appreciate life. And so maybe as a content creator this last year, I didn't create as many videos as I'd like. But remember, it's not about quantity, it's also about quality and the journey that you're on. So that's the advice that I would give the last year me. Okay, let's talk about the nuclear industry moving forward. Okay, what trends excite me about the nuclear industry going forward into the next year? I think new builds. I joined the industry at a time where nuclear power plants across Canada were being decommissioned. I joined when across Europe and the United States, you're seeing mass demolitions and decommissioning of nuclear facilities. And I think the trend that excites me is to see a lot of these facilities that were once being decommissioned now come alive. Um, Also, the new builds, right? Like the world is moving in the direction of nuclear. And that excites me. That really excites me. That's the trend that I'm seeing where it's not only just the talk and the on paper designs, which look really, really cool. Like so you see these Ferraris, and you're seeing these videos of these Ferraris, but now you're seeing shovels in the ground and you're seeing them being ready to build. And I think that's super, super exciting for me. That's a trend that I think I think is just like it's just a start. Hopefully it's just a start of the next few decades for humanity. You're seeing nuclear power plants, the early 1970s, after the oil crisis. That's when all these nuclear facilities were built across the world, like the 400 reactors plus reactors that are operating. And then eventually those reactors are still operating from the 1970s, 80s, and 90s till this day. And now you have several kind of false renaissances. There's obviously Fukushima that took place, this Chernobyl that took place. But now it's like, hey, we need to fight climate change. Our world needs nuclear. And so these countries have kind of done a 180 and are building these reactors. And so I see these reactor sites, especially in Canada. It makes me really proud. It makes me really excited, and it makes me really happy. Okay, the next question is, what responsibility do engineers and communicators have in the next decade? I think the next decade is going to be a very interesting time. I think when it comes to mass media and AI and a lot of misinformation on the internet, I think engineers and communicators both play a very important role in getting information which is accurate out to the public. I think that is one of the most important tasks that both engineers and communicators can play in the next decade. We need engineers, we need voices which have a technical background, which have credibility to be creating content. They need to be strong communicators. And we need communicators to also be communicating about what's going on in the industry. So I think if engineers and subject matter experts are not on these platforms like YouTube, sharing why what is nuclear, what are the misconceptions, and sharing that with the greater audience, sharing that with policymakers and leaders, then I think there will be a very big issue, right? People will be misunderstood and misguided. And I think this can impact large scale projects as well. So I think the responsibility that communicators and engineers hold is truly magnificent, right? It's a huge responsibility, because I think with knowledge comes responsibility, right? Knowledge is not only meant to be kept to oneself, it's supposed to be shared with everyone. Okay, so another question here is, how can nuclear storytelling improve to reach wider audiences? I think nuclear storytelling is so unique, and everyone has their own twist to it. Like for example, Isabel Bokameke, she's on TikTok. She's showcasing stories through these incredible TikTok videos. There's also podcast episodes like Chris Kiefer that are going into the realm of podcasts, right? Of like deep dive discussions with subject matter experts. And I think everyone has their own way of sharing a story, right? Like this is almost like a diary that I'm sharing with you, right? It's very personal, it's very emotional, it's very one-to-one talking head video, right? I love these talking head videos because this is what YouTube is, right? Like content creators, they started creating videos on YouTube just by recording like a diary, right? Like a vlog. This is a vlog. I take a camera, I turn on the camera, I put on the video, and here, bada boom, bada bang, I'm sharing a story with you like you're in my living room, right? And this type of experience is really unique, okay? I enjoy them. It's a personalized experience. It's not like me talking to a big stage and being like, and making these grand gestures and talking like this complex vocabulary and blowing people away. It's like, no, you're one-to-one and you're talking to me, right? And I think that is a part of storytelling. It's a part of reaching a wider audience, right? People don't want to be slammed with this corporate jargon with these beautiful and yes, that you could like they don't want to see these um uh over edited videos which just fly over people's heads, which are basically advertisements. They want to resonate with a human being. And I think that's why, that's the power of storytelling. And each story is so unique, it's so different. It, yeah, so I think that is basically um how storytelling can improve and reach a wider audience. And that's what I'm trying to do here on YouTube. And we'll see in the next couple of years if that's successful. So let's talk about 2026 and looking ahead into the new year. What kind of nuclear content do I want to make more intentionally? Like I said, I want to create simplification videos more. Okay. And that's more of an intentional move. I want to take a lot of the Reactor vlogs that I did and talk about some of the concepts or some of the things that some of the things I experienced inside of them. I think that would be really fun. So that will be my intentional look ahead for the new year. What do I want to stop doing, even if it's working? Podcasts. I think podcasts are working, but I want to take a pause on them in the next new year. What scares me a little about the next chapter, and why is that a good thing? Yeah, I think what scares me is like I think my fixation on the subscriber count and all of that jazz really died out. But I think what scares me is having a fixation to that number in a certain way, right? I think I'm taking a bit of a stoic approach when it comes to subscriber count or view count. But I think that scares me a little, right? That I might become fixated on that again. Um, but you know what? I think having some targets and goals is not always a bad thing, right? Like you can't always do everything to be super selfless and I don't care about what subscribers I have. Sometimes you have your own internal motivations, and I think that's just human, right? Like you want to be better, you want to do better than you did last year, and so it scares me because I'm like, oh, is that my ego? But then it's like, no, maybe that's a good thing. How do I want people to feel after watching my content this year? I think the TED Talk really helped open up my eyes as to the power of emotion, the power of connection. And I feel like I want people to connect more with the content that I create this year. I want it to be more emotionally charged. I want it to be something that people can learn, but also appreciate in terms of developing that one-on-one connection. That's basically something that I want for the next year. So yeah, that's my end of year recap when it comes to content creation and as a nuclear engineer. I really enjoyed 2025. There were some incredible highlights. Like in April I went to Japan for the largest nuclear conference there. Met so many professionals, did podcasts there, filmed some incredible sites. In I also went to the CNA conference and did a ton of podcasts there as well. And yeah, I think this was a really really great year. It was really fun. I got a chance to get a new camera this year as well. It was a bit of early last year. I got LASIK done, so I don't have glasses. It's a new look. It's different. This year was fun. It was great. I'm looking forward to more adventures, more fun, more content. And I hope I catch you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.